Season 2 of Gangs of Galicia threw a lot at us. The criminal underworld of Cambados completely shifted. A rival gang, led by Paco, a close friend of Jose Padin, rose to power in collaboration with Macario. They managed to take control of the town, partly thanks to Ana, but their reign saw a meteoric fall once Ana gets arrested. She takes both of them down with her. And then there's Daniel, stuck right in the middle of one of the most gut-wrenching decisions the show has ever put a character through. Does he betray his father to be with Ana and their child? Or does he face the very real possibility of a prison sentence? That choice sends him and Ana down completely different paths. And honestly, it's the kind of ending that leaves you with so many questions. So today, we're breaking down everything we know about what Season 3 could look like. The plot, the cast, and where this story might be heading. Release date, renewal status. Now before we get into all of that, let's address the big question. Has Season 3 been officially confirmed? Unfortunately, no. There's been no official renewal announcement yet. But if the show does get greenlit soon enough, we could realistically be looking at a Season 3 sometime in 2028. Daniel's loyalty. So let's talk about where Daniel's story goes from here, because this is the heart of what Season 3 would need to tackle. Throughout Season 2, Daniel is constantly fighting the pull of his family's criminal legacy. He remains optimistic about the possibility of leaving the life of crime behind to live a civilian's life. But no matter how hard he tries, circumstances keep dragging him back into his father's world. And at one point, he ends up back in custody. And this time, it's really on him. But here's where it gets interesting. Ana manages to cut a deal with the authorities. As part of that deal, Ana, her daughter Sarah, and Daniel would all be allowed into the witness protection program, a real chance to start fresh as a family. The catch? Daniel would have to sign an agreement and testify against the Padin crime family, meaning he'd have to directly betray his own family and friends to earn his freedom. And Daniel says no, he walks away from Ana, from Sarah, from that whole life. So in a potential Season 3, Daniel is likely back in Cambados, probably forced to pick up the pieces of his father's crumbling empire. His opinions on the criminal life haven't changed, but his circumstances absolutely have. Watching him struggle with what it actually means to lead a crime organization, that's going to be compelling television. Cast, who's returning and who might be gone. Now let's get into the cast situation, because Season 2 ends in a way that puts several characters' futures in serious doubt. The biggest one, Jose Padin, the head of the Padin crime family, becomes the target of an assassination plot, and as the season ends, we genuinely don't know if he survives. That means Miguel de Lira, who plays Padin, could very well be leaving the show in Season 3. It's not confirmed, but it's very possible. Then there's Ana. She's heading off on a journey that might mean the end of her involvement with the Cambados criminal world altogether. So Clara Lego's return is uncertain. It really depends on the direction the story takes. On the flip side, Daniel's story has an open-ended conclusion, which strongly suggests that Tamar Novas will be back as the lead. And with Daniel returning, it's safe to expect the people closest to him to come back too. Nilo, played by Jose Padin, Marco, played by Nuno Gallego, Tono, played by Chechu Salgado, and Samuel, played by Diego Anido. Beyond that, the show's strong connection to the town of Cambados means we'd likely see the return of Laura, Berta, and Detective Torres as well. And of course, with new storylines come new faces, so expect some fresh cast additions if Season 3 happens. Plot, Padin's fate, and the Empire's future. Season 2 ends on a massive cliffhanger with Padin in critical condition, and Season 3 would almost certainly deal with the fallout from that directly. Here's the context. Padin has been aware of a possibly fatal medical prognosis for a while now, and it's been pushing him to think about who takes over after him. His first choice was always Daniel, but Daniel kept pulling further and further away in Season 2. So Padin started seriously considering Nilo, Daniel's best friend and cousin, as his successor. Now, with everything that's happened, Daniel's future is completely up in the air, but there's a real chance that, when push comes to shove, he steps up and takes over the family business. Whether Padin survives his surgery or not, that's a storyline that needs to be explored. The Padin family was once held in high regard across Cambados, but they've faced setback after setback in recent years. And with Macario's arrest also shaking things up, the organization is in a fragile state. Season 3 would likely put Daniel in the position of rebuilding the empire from scratch, and the central question becomes, does he rise to it, or does he finally realize this life just isn't for him? That's everything we know about Gangs of Galicia Season 3 so far. It's a show that's really found its footing, and there's so much story left to tell. Whether or not Netflix pulls the trigger on a renewal, the pieces are absolutely in place for a compelling next chapter. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit like and subscribe for more breakdowns just like this one. And drop a comment below letting me know. Do you think Daniel made the right call rejecting that deal?